Hello guys, welcome back, and in this lesson we are going to consider how to use the for loop for list rendering. So sometimes you'll get a list and you want to render that data dynamically and not repeat it, continuously. So let us jump in and see how to do this. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going just to let's create an UL, and inside here I'm going to move my list. Let me just move this here and maybe display a list of maybe fruits here. Let me say mangoes, or say oranges, say bananas. I've run out of names. Let me just say citrus. Okay, this is okay for demonstrating. So when I do this, when I go to the browser, you'll actually see that this is just, a normal list. As you can see, this is just a normal list with nothing. But now let us suppose that I want to render this list dynamically. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to declare here constant. I'm going to call this maybe fruits, and I'm going to use ref for now. And of course, for this case here, I'm going to use an array here, and I'm going to pass my data here. Mango, you just say orange, banana, citrus. Then I'll just remove these. So now to use the for loop, it's very simple. I simply have to say v for, and I have to declare an alias that will represent each item in the list. For this case, I can just say fruit in fruits. Yeah. So if you have ever used the normal JavaScript for, you understand for in is used to loop in a list or in an object of a list. Yeah. So that is the same case here. So I'm just going to say that I want to display the fruit here. So this will do the same thing as the for loop or the list that I've declared manually. I had forgotten to add quotation on these names here, so just make sure you add it there. So the next thing I want to show you is that now this is not the best way so far to use the for loop, because it is recommended that you use a key for your data here. So we need to put a key here, and this key needs to be the ID for every item that you're passing or you're looping on this list. So in our case here, this is to make this more intuitive. We'll have to pass maybe objects here. Say ID, say one, and then I can say label. I can say mango. Just use single quotes. So I'm just going to duplicate this, copy this. This is going to be 2. This is going to be orange. I'm going to duplicate the third one here. This is going to be 3. This is going to be banana. That is okay. So it is recommended that you have a unique identifier for your for your list items, so that when Vue is rendering this list, it is somehow behind the scene, optimizing your rendering using that unique identifier. So in our case here, so since this is dynamic now, we can simply bind like this, and then we can say that here fruits, and then now this is returning an object, so we'll say fruit.id here. and in our case here now will be fruit dot label like this. So if I go here, as you can see, it's displaying the same thing. And just to show you that actually we have the ID here, so let me just do this. Let me paste here and display the ID here so that you can see that actually we are getting the ID. So if I go here, refresh, as you can see, we have the ID here. So something else is that you can be able to get the index of each item in this list. In our case here, for me to get the index of each fruit, I can simply pass a second value here and say index like this. So remember, this index is simply the value which shows the position of each item in the array. It is not really a unique identifier and it is not recommended to use it. So to differentiate this, I'm going just to copy this here. Let me paste this here. Let me do this. This is going to be index like this for now, and here for the ID, I'm going to say ID so that we can see the difference between the ID and the index, ID2, and lastly ID3. So if I go back here, I'll do a refresh here. Now, as you can see, we have the index which is here, and then the unique ID which I've set, and then we have the labels here. So the last thing that I would like to show you guys is that can go as further as destructuring the item or the objects in this array. So for example here, you can simply destructure this fruit by saying I have the ID and the label like this, and then here I can simply now just use the ID, and then of course here I can just use the ID, then here I can simply use the label, and it will do basically the same thing again. As you can see, this gives us the same thing that we have done here. So you can loop on an object using this guy also. So for example, here I'll just use one fruit for now. So I can do this. I can say ID, the label, and maybe name. The label can be a mango with small m, and the ID can be 1 or 2, whatever. So for looping through and the object, I guess I need to use a reactive here, and I believe this by default is the value of the objects. So let's try and just do this and see. So by default, when you loop through an object, it picks the value. As you can see here, we have 2 mango. So that is it, guys, with the list rendering. Go check it out, and let's meet in our next lesson.